This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Promises Behavioral Health. If you're struggling through the pains of alcohol or drug addiction, now is the time to seek the help you need. Let this be an opportunity to get back on track and get back to finding the real you. You're not alone, and Promises Behavioral Health is here for you, and they can help. We've worked with Promises for years now. We know their teams personally. We have great relationships with them. And most importantly, we trust Promises, and so can you. To learn more about Promises treatment options near you for you or your loved one, here's what you can do. You can go to promisesbehavioralhealth.com/soberguy. That's promisesbehavioralhealth.com/soberguy. Or you can just pick up the phone the old-fashioned way, and you can call 888-205-1890. That's 888-205-1890. Tell them that you heard about them from That Sober Guy podcast.
That Sober Guy podcast contains adult content, merciless truth, and emotional nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm Shane Raymer. You're listening to That Sober Guy podcast, and we help people stay sober. If it's your first time listening, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here today. We're going to be talking about 3 necessary things that have helped me stay alcohol-free since 2013. Good to be here today with you. Shout out to Robbie's and Humans Music. Love this intro song. Just makes me want to sing every time. You're never bringing me down. Oh yeah. What's up, Robbie? Thanks to those guys. Man, if you've been listening for a long time, thanks so much for tuning in again today. We appreciate the support. Love the Sober Guy community. Shout out to all the locals, homies out there. What's up, men? How are you? Good to be back today. I mentioned our title once. Let's do it again. 3 necessary things that have helped me stay alcohol-free since 2013. There's quite a few things, but these are like the 3 foundational ones. There may be 5 foundational ones total, but these 3 are right up there. So we're going to get to those in just a minute. First, a couple of announcements. One of the most regular questions I hear is guys asking how not to drink at social gatherings. Like how do I have this, trip, this dude's trip to go to, or I have a wedding to go to. I'm going to go see Cousin Kate. Cousin Kate's getting married. How do I not drink when everybody at the wedding is going to be getting smash-hammered? Doubled them together, smashed and hammered. Schmammered, there we go. There it is. Everyone's getting schmammered and I can't drink. I don't want to drink. How do I do that? So I put together a little infographic for you. It's called the top 4 tips to stay alcohol-free at social gatherings. All you got to do is go to thatsoberguy.com. You'll see the little, I don't even know what it's called, little pop-up thing there. It's right in the center of the page. You just throw your email address in there and click the button, and then it'll take you to the infographic. And you can check out those top 4 tips to stay alcohol-free at social gatherings. So if you're interested in that, those are my top 4, some of the 4 that I've used and would highly recommend. And they're simple. It's nothing crazy. But when you think about them for a minute, you go, oh yeah, that might work a little bit. I'm going to try that next time. So check that out. And then, of course, hey, maybe you're here because you're tired of drinking. Maybe that's why you're listening to the podcast today. You found it randomly. You're like, man, there's got to be some podcasts out there that are cool and that are good, that have good content and can help me stop drinking. Well, hey, you stumbled across Sober Guy and here you are and you're like, holy shit. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So we have a 30-day program designed to help you quit drinking for 30 days or more. It's called Quit Drinking Dude, the ultimate men's guide to quit drinking alcohol and stay sober for 30 days or more. You're going to get 30 podcasts in 30 days, as well as exercises to complement each day's topic and each day's exercise to help guide you through it. And in addition to that, you get great community support in our locals Sober Guy men's group. So man, lots of good dudes in there. Lots of good dudes going through the Quit Drinking Dude 30-day program. And if you want to check it out, you go to www.quitdrinkingdude.com. That's quitdrinkingdude.com. Check it out for more information at quitdrinkingdude.com. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. What else? Was there anything else? Follow us on Instagram at That Sober Guy Podcast. I made a post, was it yesterday? It's about number 2 on this list. So we're going to get to that in just a minute too. So you can read that post if you follow us on Instagram. If you don't, please do so. But 3 necessary things that have helped me stay alcohol free since 2013. And man, there's a list of them, I would say, but like I mentioned in the beginning, these first 3 are, when I looked back at everything, I said, man, these are like pivotable things that pivotable. Fuck. Oh man. Is it pivotable? Yeah, pivotable. You got to pronounce the T. Pivotable. Okay, now I'm just annoying the shit out of myself. So the three necessary things. Let's start with number 1. God. Plain and simple. A spiritual connection. That was one thing early on. And, for me, I had to look to something higher. In the beginning, I had to look to something that was like, because I was trying to control everything so much, and I had so much just stuff going on in my head, my heart, and just life. And I was trying to wear all of it on my shoulders. And as a human being, I don't believe we're designed to do that. I don't think it's possible to carry the worldly weight that some of us carry, and that I carried at that time. And when I was able to let go and give it up to God and just say, God, like, I can't do this anymore. Like I need help. It relieved and alleviated. I mean, and it wasn't a magic fix. It's not like a fairy, right? God's not a magician. He's like, boom, you're cool. Right on, bro. You're good to go. Your life's amazing. You have plenty of money, and like your relationships are awesome and everything's cool. Boom. Like drop of a wand, like you're done. So that's not what I'm saying. It doesn't work like that. But what it does do is it does something. It did something for me in that moment that alleviated the stress and the pressure of having to wear all the worldly stuff that I was trying to control and trying to work through, that I just had no tools and no idea how to do that. And that spiritual connection for me, it started as a child. I mean, I grew up I went to catechism. I grew up in the Catholic Church. And it was, something that was ingrained in our family. Really, my grandparents, we went to church on holidays. And then as I got older, that's about all we did, was went to church on holiday. I think it was Jim Gaffigan said best, and this ain't a slight to any Catholic, so if you're Catholic, please don't take offense to this. I have mad respect for just my roots and, all my people I love out there. But Jim Gaffigan made the best joke. He said, yeah, and I'm paraphrasing here. I'm probably going to jack this up, but he said, I go to church on Christmas and Easter, and I watch the Notre Dame game, so I'm Catholic. It was something like that. And I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. That's kind of what we did as I got a little bit older. But it was very ritualistic. It was very, I don't know if legalistic's the right word, but I think ritualistic is the right word. I did confirmation and first communion. And so why am I saying this? It's not a knock on Catholicism. It's not a knock on people who are Catholic. It's not a knock on my family, because we're Catholic, right? I was baptized in the Catholic Church, all of it. But I think what it did for me when I look back on it now is, if anything, it did establish a spiritual connection at that time. I always knew that there was something inside of me that was alive in my spirit. Okay. And I didn't know what that was. And sometimes I still have questions about what that is or what it could be. And I think that's normal. I try to give myself grace on that. I don't have all the answers. But the one thing, as I got older, as I started to drift away from going to church even on Christmas and Easter, at that point, as I started to go down this different path, when I came back to it and I gave up and I said, man, I need some help, something changed in me. There was a difference between the religion that I had experienced as a kid and a relationship with something higher, and a relationship with God, something, to my understanding, that was so ingrained in my heart and my soul that I could feel inside of me. And it didn't mean that I had to go through a priest to get there. It didn't mean that I had to go through an organization, a building, anything, to get that direct line to God. That comes in me. It's built in me. There's something there. Like I said, I don't quite understand it. But when I did submit to that and surrender to it and let go, I think that's the best way I'd like to put it, is let go. Even submit, surrender, I don't know. Those words are starting to bother me a little bit more. And I don't know why. Maybe that's something I should look at, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just something that's dumb. And I'm just like, I want to use the term let go now, but let go to me, it just seems like completely my hands off of it. Like I can picture it, and I can picture, this is making me think like surrender would be an act of, I guess it's an act of giving up. But I feel like when I hear the term surrender, it almost comes off as a weakness to me. And I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying how I perceive it. When I first hear the word surrender, it comes off as weak, right? And once again, not saying it is. I'm just saying that's what it comes off as. I think surrender is a great thing. But when I use the term let go, it feels more of like a voluntary release, which seems a bit more positive to me than surrender. Interesting. I haven't had that thought before. I love new thoughts. I get so excited about new thoughts and new ways of thinking. So freaking awesome and just exciting. But so look, there's something about letting go though, and giving up and just saying I couldn't do it, like in that time, that it's been one of the biggest things. It is the biggest thing. It was the biggest thing. And I think with that comes being okay with not having to have all the answers about it either. I don't. I know what I read. I know what I experience. I know what my mind says, what my heart says. And some days that's confusing too. And so you can even hear, the more I try to figure it out and think about it, the worse it gets. So I've kind of came to this point where I'm just going to stop. And, I had a great chat with Buddy this morning, actually, in our weekly meeting. And he's always said, the more that I do the right thing and help people and love people, the better I feel. And so I really love that philosophy and that mentality. It's very simple. It's very easy. And what it does for me is it takes, it's actionable ways to live that are action oriented for a lot of the scripture and a lot of the things that we read and try to figure out, if that's a way I could put it, I guess. Serve people and love people and do my best, so let me try to do that and not worry about all the other stuff that I can get caught up in. And then with that, I just trust. So I don't have to have all the answers. And then I trust, I have faith that it's going to work out just the way it's supposed to. And even if it works out not how I think it should or did, I guess that's how it was supposed to. And that's where this thing called radical acceptance comes in. And I've been doing quite a bit of work in that as well, and learning more about that and putting together some ways to help dudes accept things, including myself. And so that has been some eye-opening stuff too. And I'll probably, speak more to that later on down the road as I'm still working through some of it. But, the first thing of the three necessary things that have helped me stay sober, or helped me stay alcohol free since 2013, God, number one. Number two, and this would allude to the post that I made yesterday, on Instagram. So if you'd like to check that, maybe I'll read it actually, or I'll pull it up in a minute. But number two, coaches, mentors, and sponsors. Coaches, mentors, and sponsors. So let's start with this. Let me read the post yesterday. That's probably an easier way for me to do this. So one of our parents, and thank you to her for taking this picture. She posted a picture at my son's Little League practice the other day, and it was at the end of practice, and everyone had kind of gotten cleaned up, and we just had our circle up chat real quick. Hey, good practice today. We got a game coming up. Any questions, encouragement, motivation, did good, that kind of stuff, you know? And so we're standing around the circle, and there's myself and then two of my coaches, and then our kids, our team. And when she sent that over on the thread, I thought, man, that's so awesome, man. Just like, gosh, this is such an experience and time in our lives, like especially for Cash and I, that's just really cool. And then I got to thinking too about how important and how a coach, a mentor, a sponsor, a friend, an accountability partner, whatever title you want to put on it, how important that is. Oh, I had to hit the mute button there real quick so I could hawk it up. But how important is that? It's so important. So I said, everyone needs a coach. It doesn't matter if you're 8 years old or you're 40 years old. When did we decide, because we became adults, in quotes, by the way, the adult thing, because sometimes I am a jackass and still act like a child. When did we decide, because we became adults, we had it all figured out and we no longer needed coaches and mentors in our lives? Do professional athletes, law enforcement, military, top business entrepreneurs have mentors and coaches? Absolutely they do. That's what helps make them professionals. As I continue to have a great experience learning and growing as a coach and mentor my son's Little League team and my daughter's softball team, and I approach each of my own coaching sessions each week with my mentor buddy, my business coach, Jonathan, my peers, Static, Ed Lattimore, Brian, in our mastermind group, with the same motivation and determination as some of these kids do. I'm eager to learn and ready to listen and excited to get better. This is what helps me be a better coach with the kids, as well as be a better coach and mentor while helping dudes cut out alcohol and find purpose in life. Having a coach and remaining teachable is what sets many dudes apart from the rest. You also have to stay motivated and consistent. It's okay. It's okay to say, I don't know, or I need help. It's okay to suck at something at first and work hard to improve yourself. I've found the more I surround myself with dudes who want to be the best version of themselves, live a purposeful life, and aren't afraid to ask for help, the more that mentality and framework becomes a part of my own life. So if you need help, reach out. Change is possible. Finding your purpose is possible. It's an amazing thing to work alongside and learn from some of the best dudes out there who are playing this game of life and kicking ass at it. So I think that sums up of some of what I'm getting at with this, but everybody needs a coach, a mentor, or sponsor. And the point is, just because we get older and as we become men and we get into our 20s and our 30s and our 40s, especially as we start to become adults, we think that we're just supposed to have all this stuff figured out, and we're supposed to navigate it on our own. And I tried to do that for a long time. I didn't have the best role model growing up in my life, and so I had to look outward to other men, and I still do that till this day, because I think every man should. Personally, I think everybody should have a coach, a mentor, a sponsor, an accountability partner, somebody who can mentor you. That is something that I have found to be one of the most beneficial things, not just to help me not drink, but to help me be a better human being, period. And that comes with one-on-one stuff. Like I mentioned, our mastermind group in the post, that is a form of mentorship. That is a form of accountability. It's just in a group form, and it's extremely powerful. We talked about some things today, about, and this is super, super early. I probably shouldn't even say anything because it's just like infancy idea, but just talking about, we have these great minds together, the six of us, and we're like, dude, we could do an amazing men's conference one day, of speakers and music and fashion and just all different. And when I say fashion, I'm not like, that's the first thing I thought of was like a runway. And if that's not what I'm talking about, I'm talking about men being men. Okay. And looking good, feeling good, doing good. I'm talking about that, like growth in all of us as dudes, better fathers, better husbands, better men all around, bringing back masculinity in a form, in a new age form, I guess, in some sense. We've evolved over time, and when we do things like that, when we stick together, we have coaches, mentors, sponsors, mastermind, we grow and we evolve. And it's pretty freaking powerful and awesome and badass at the same time. It gets me excited thinking about it. I just don't know when we got old and as soon as we got old in adulthood and we were like, shit, we stopped thinking that we need a coach. Like, oh, I'm just supposed to figure this out and do it. And it doesn't really make sense. All professionals still have coaches. All people who do things at a high level, 99% of them, I can almost guarantee, have somebody who's a mentor, a coach, a sponsor. It's hard to do things on our own. And that was probably my biggest problem for a lot of the time, was I was trying to do it on my own. I mean, I mentioned that earlier in somewhere. I can't even remember sometimes my own thoughts and when I mentioned stuff, but I do a lot of talking. I'm working on doing a lot of listening though. One of the things in the mastermind group that's came up quite a few times is working on being a better listener. So although I talk for a living, I am also learning on the other end of the spectrum of that to be a better listener. And it's something that is a learned thing, I think. We're kind of wired sometimes. We want to get everything out, and I'm guilty of that sometimes. But I love being engaged in new conversations now and really focusing on listening and just shutting the fuck up and not having to hear myself talk. I'm like, man, imagine that. The art of listening. It is an art too. It's a practice. Try it sometime. Try to sit back and listen instead of thinking about what you're going to say next. Which is hard for me to do right now because I'm doing a monologue podcast that most of it is freestyle other than some bullet points. So I'm constantly having to think of where it goes next. But I'm saying in a conversation setting, when you're just sitting with a family member, a friend somewhere, really focus on sitting back and listening. And then instead of waiting to jump in and give yourself your side of the story, or you're this or you're that, or relating, just ask a question, Oh man, okay. So here's an example. Your friend, is telling you about, this vacation they went on and this and that. And, hey, they went down to, Mexico, went to Cabo, right? Had a great old time, this and that. Instead of saying, well, man, when I went to Cabo, our trip to Cabo was crazy. And then you go down that road, just sit back and go, man, how was the beach? Oh yeah. What was your favorite part of Cabo? Really? Oh, that's great. Where'd you guys stay? Ask questions like that. I'm telling you, it does something. It resets the brain and it gives you a feeling of service. It gives you a feeling of engagement. It gives you a feeling of participating in a conversation versus just trying to, and you know what it also does? I just realized this too. It puts you in the moment, which is the secret. That's it. It puts you in the moment in that conversation because you're present with that person and you care about what they're going through. So I'm not talking at you when I say this either. I'm talking with you as in I'm continuing to practice this art too, because it really is fun. And it's pretty awesome the more you do it and the more you're conscious of it. So last thing, coaches, mentors, sponsors, just the importance of community. I kind of hit on it a little bit with the mastermind group. So, and it could be a church group, a men's group, a 12-step group. We have our locals men's group. We have our clubhouse group that Static and I do on Mondays. That's on the website, by the way. If you're looking for a meeting on Mondays, we do a 9 a.m. Pacific time clubhouse audio meeting. So you just download the clubhouse app. And it's cool if you work during that time. A lot of us are working and we're kind of multitasking sometimes, because it's just audio. You're not on video. And we meet for an hour. It's not specific to 12-step. It's just specific to people in a general recovery who are trying to get better. And you do get a lot of people from 12-step in there, which is awesome. But there's some great conversations in there. So if you just go to the website, .soberguy.com, I think it's in meetings. You'll see the info for that if you're looking for that. But another place of community, right? That's the point. We need to be in some sort of community. So we have one-on-one coaches, mentors, sponsors, and then we also have group coaching, group masterminds, and whatever you kind of want to label it up as. That is where we grow. All right, number 3 of 3 necessary things that have helped me stay alcohol-free since 2013. Now I'd say, all these are my favorite. Let me take a drink. I'm drinking a Clean Cause right now too. What's this? Raspberry sparkling yerba mate. I still love the Clean Cause. Good stuff. I've been switching back and forth between the Clean Cause and the NoCo, the No Carbs Company. Those are some damn good ones too. I love those right before the pre-workout. They got some tasty ones. Oops, my phone is going down right now. Hold on, let me put this. Okay, put that on silent there. Number 3, find something you love to do. Find something you love to do. The more that I've gone in my own path, without alcohol, growing as a human being, growing as a man, trying to better myself, find purpose, entrepreneurship, all kinds of awesome things, coaching, speaking, loving, just having fun too, just trying to live life like every day was my last. You have to, in order to do that, I feel like you have to find something you love to do. You have to have hobbies. You have to have healthy things that you really enjoy. And if you go back, I want you to remember that childlike spirit that you once had. What was that like? Do you remember when you were a kid? You felt free. You felt like you could do anything. I think this goes back to number 2, when we start getting older and we forget about needing coaches, mentors, accountability partners, people to lead us, guide us. Same thing happens with that childlike spirit. We start to lose it. We start to get all responsible and shit. Shit, I got bills to pay. I got this. I got that. I don't got time for nothing. I don't know what voice that is, but I just made it up. Maybe his name's Larry. That's Larry. Hey, what's up, Larry? Who the fuck is Larry? I have no idea. But the voice just came out, and that's what Larry was talking about, man. Larry is, he's an adult now. He doesn't get to do anything anymore. He doesn't have fun. He doesn't ride BMX. He doesn't skateboard. Baseball is a thing of the past. And he's very comfortable, Larry, in where he's at. He identifies through his job, through his work, and he works hard. No slight to him there. He works hard and he tries to work smart and he takes care of shit, takes care of his family. But there's no excitement there anymore because Larry is too damn responsible and he's lost that childlike spirit. And that does something to a man's heart, to his soul. What did you love to do as a kid that you quit doing? Like, I'll give you a couple examples. A lot of things I loved to do as a kid. Top 3, skateboarding, BMX, playing baseball. Skateboarding, BMX, playing baseball. Okay? I still skateboard. I wouldn't say I BMX, but I got a great Sunday 29-inch cruiser that I mob around occasionally. Not as much as I'd like to lately. Shit's on the side yard right now. I need to clean it up and get it out as summer rolls in, but I still ride it. I still take the Rob Roscoff skateboard out, and if Cash wants to go to the skate park or ride around the neighborhood or just cruise it. And baseball, I'm not obviously playing baseball right now, but I'm still playing catch and I'm still coaching. I was playing in a softball men's league. I played in those for years, back in the day. But I'm doing those things because those are things that I loved to do as a kid. And just because I'm 40, I'm never going to quit doing something because I feel like I'm too old. Too old is a state of fucking mind. It's bullshit, in my opinion. I'm not saying our bodies don't change and that we have to do things a bit different. And maybe for some of us, there's certain things that we just can't do anymore. I get that. But the state of mind is where it's at. And so, and this goes into learning something new too. We stop learning things that are new as men because we're afraid to suck at them. We don't want to suck. We don't want to look stupid. And I've been over this in previous podcasts, especially last year when I was learning to surf. I still suck at surfing. And we're going in a couple weeks back down to Newport and to Huntington, and I'm going to get my surf on again. At least I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to a smaller board this time too. I had an 8-foot big ass Odyssey foam board, which was cool. I mean, it was fun to kind of mess around on and start out and try, but with some advice from my buddy Matt, who's a phenomenal surfer, and his boys out there, he said, man, why don't you try a smaller board? So I think I'm going to go with like a 6'6", maybe, or maybe a 7, I don't know, maybe a 7-foot soft top. I don't know. We'll see when we get down there. But here's the point. I still suck at surfing. I'm not good. Okay. I can get up though, and I can have some fun out there, and I can get my ass kicked. And I also just get a great workout in, just the paddling alone. But I always wanted to learn to surf, even as a kid. I remember being like a kid and watching like North Shore and watching those old movies, and I skated and I snowboarded and I did it all, but I never surfed being in NorCal. NorCal surf is a little different than SoCal. And I just, we're only, 50 minutes from the coast here in Vacaville, but I just never took the time and got into it as a kid, but I always wanted to. And so I've already told the story a few times, so I'll save it this time, but long story short, I didn't try surfing until I was 39. And I didn't care that I sucked at it. I don't give a shit because I want to do it. I want to try it before I die. There's a lot of shit I want to do and try before I die. And so I don't care how dumb I look at it. If I want to do it and try it, I'm going to do it. And like, you can fuck off if you think it's funny or laugh, and I'm not saying I'm not saying you listening to this. I'm just saying like, that's the mentality you have to have. I feel like, to try new shit. Like jujitsu is another one I want to give a shot. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm going to go be a master jujitsu artist and become a black belt, but I'm just saying like, and I know that's that takes years and like, oh, good Lord, that's like crazy. Right. But just try it. I just want to try it. I just want to see what it's about. I got homies who do it are like, oh my God, I wish I could do this every day. I'm like, man, I should try it. The kids do it. I go watch them do it. It's like, man, I have been itching at that. I need to try that. To be honest, I'm just afraid I'm going to get hurt. That's probably my biggest fear in that. And see, this is cool too. Expressing fear. It's okay to be vulnerable and express your fears of shit, right? Like I want to try jujitsu, but I'm kind of scared. I'm a little scared to look dumb, right? But I can get over that. I've gotten over that plenty of times before. Surfing is a great example. I look like a fool the first time. I tried to sit on my board. I was out there with Lucy. It was our first time out in Newport at Blackie's. And, like when you're sitting out there waiting for waves to come back, you're kind of looking and you're trying to watch as they come in. And so a lot of people will press up and they'll sit, like straddle your board. You think that shit's easy, right? From out there, like if you're on the beach and you've never done it, you're like, oh, you just sit on your board. That shit's not easy. Like at first, it takes a minute, And so I remember the first time I popped up and tried to do that, I was sitting there and then all of a sudden I got wobbly and I fucking rolled over. And Lucy, I pop up, dude, and Lucy's like laughing her ass off at me. And I see another guy like that's over on the side, because there's a lot of people out there, and he's kind of laughing too. And they kind of waved. They weren't being dicks, so, but you feel a little dumb, and it's like, whatever. I felt like kind of dumb. And then I laughed it off and made a joke about it and hopped back on and tried again. And that's just what you got to do. It's what I had to do, and eventually I can sit on my board, no problem now. But like at the first time it was, man, it takes a minute, man. We got to suck at shit sometimes, And so like with jujitsu, I'm like, yeah, that's on my list is what I'm getting at. So what is your list? What is your list? What is your list of things that you once did as a kid that you want to do again? Or what is your list of things that you want to try that are new, that maybe you're scared of? It's okay to get uncomfortable. That's where the growth happens. I experienced that with CrossFit as well. I've told that story a couple of times too, so I'll just save it for another time. But, I sucked. I was out of shape. And I got sucked into some challenge in front of the whole damn gym. And I looked like a fool. But who cares? I did it. And I stuck around in CrossFit for, that gym for a year and a half, almost 2 years, I think. And now I can do my own workouts. I feel like at the gym, like different types of stuff. It's a little different. We're in a different season right now, guys. We're just in a different season. Why is it always the ladies, like my wife? I'm like, hey, this or that. She's like, Shane, it's just a season. It's just a season that you're going through. I love her, but it's hilarious. But how do we find that childlike spirit again? I want you to find that childlike spirit. I want you to go after it. I want you to feel alive. Just quitting alcohol and living alcohol free, that's not enough. That's the start of it, because it brings us back into consciousness. It connects us back to reality, connects us back to our human consciousness at a higher level as we grow. But that childlike spirit is where it's at, finding shit that we love to do. I noticed I dropped a lot of S-bombs today, even a couple F-bombs. I don't know, man. It's just a season, I guess. I hope you guys got something out of this today. Let's recap real quick. The 3 necessary things that have helped me stay alcohol-free since 2013. God, number 1. Number 2, coaches, mentors, and sponsors. And number 3, find something that you love to do. If something spoke to you today, share the podcast with a friend. And I hope something spoke to you today, I should say, instead. But still, share the podcast with a friend. Appreciate that. If you're tired of drinking, you can head on over to quitdrinkingdude.com. Shout out to Promises Behavioral Health. We appreciate you. Appreciate all the team over at Promises. It's so nice to have a professional partner that we can have a resource for folks out there looking to go that route. Connect with us on Instagram at That Sober Guy Podcast and on the Locals app. You can join us in the Locals Sober Guy group. Once again, shout out to all my Locals homies out there. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in today. You can find more info at thatsoberguy.com. Everything you need will be there. Appreciate you. Peace, love, and respect. Keep your blood clean.